You built the business. Now, build the man. This is the Ben Price experience.
Debbie,
Hello.
welcome. Who are you and why are you here?
Oh, who am I? Great question. So I am Debbie Waite. I am the founder of Stronger Inside and Out, and I help leaders to be super successful in both business and life without ruining everything in between.
Nice. Tell us more. What about who are you?
So I am a incredibly passionate, deep and soulful woman who lives right on the borders of Kent and East Sussex.
Mm-hmm.
2 children, 1 dog, 1 husband. Well, legally, that's all I'm allowed, isn't it? And very much focused on balancing the 2 parts of me and creating that as to be 1 part.
What are the 2
And
parts of you? What do you mean by that?
so very head and heart.
Right.
So I am naturally, from a very young age, very heart-led, very empathetic, very spiritual, very connected. But that kind of got bashed out of me at quite a young age, and I became very head-based, very much about the output, very much about the doing, very much about exceeding expectations. And it's only been in the last, 6 or 7 years that I'm now like, actually, there's strength in both of those. So
Yeah.
very much on my own journey to bring the both together to really create my best self and my most powerful self.
How do you relate that to masculine and feminine energy?
I believe that is exactly what it is. You know,
Yeah.
I avoid, I don't know what that says about me. I avoid speaking about feminine and masculine only because people can misunderstand that
Mm.
and think it's about male and female and genders. But yeah, it's exactly that. It's the feminine energy and the masculine energy, whether you call it masculine, feminine, head, heart, ego, divine. I think it's the same thing. One is about the doing and one is about the being.
Yeah, nice. And so when you say it got beaten out of you, what do you mean by that?
I think
How
the
did it...
school system,
Oh, okay.
primarily. I think the
Yeah.
school system is all about output. I think the
Yeah.
school system is all about ticking the boxes. I think a lot of it, parenting also. I think, my parents were both born in the war, both very much survival. You've got, if you're going to have meat, it's because you've gone out and you've hunted a rabbit.
Really?
You've dug the potatoes up in the garden and you've dug the carrots up and that's your roast dinner. So it's very much about survival. You do what you need to do. You do it well. You do it the best you can do. You over deliver. You get a job. You stay in it as long as you possibly can. You prove your worth. You get your pension. That type of mindset, which is they did the best with what they knew. I loved hugely. I had a brilliant upbringing, but yeah, with very different world. Well, they got brought up and therefore they learned parenting mixed with the educational system, and from my perspective, I would say my competitiveness. I've got a huge competitive streak, which means if somebody says, "Do you reckon you could do 10 of those?" I would always aim to do 12. And so then put that into the school environment and competing with other people, not just myself, and then the work environment. Those 3 things means a very head-based person.
And what did you do? What did you do for work before you became a coach as you are now?
So I've always been a coach. I've been a coach 25 years. So
Really
I run
interesting.
a very different type of coach, I would
Different
say.
coach. Yeah.
Yeah, my degree was in HR management, although
Okay.
it was called personnel management back in the day. And I very quickly, although I avoided adulthood, I'm still not a proper adult, I don't think. I'm still always going to be a kid at heart.
No.
I travelled the world for a few years and then came back and started in recruitment at the Savoy Hotel, which was just brilliant. But very quickly, I got put into doing like the induction programs, health and safety training, and absolutely loved developing people. Being in the classroom and seeing those penny dropping moments in people's minds and pulling it all together. And then moved to a training manager's role in Claridge's, which is a sister hotel, but focusing more on the management and leadership development. And then with that, absolutely loved it. Then went into insurance, did all the leadership development for AXA UK, then went into more talent. So really identifying the diamond in the rough, as I say.
Yeah.
People who are more brilliant than they're being and have a lot more in them to give, and therefore developing them. So I've always been a coach to a certain extent.
And what's the difference between that type of coaching and how you work now, would you say?
I think that when you're employed in an organization, you have a job to do.
Right.
You have objectives, for the year. You have your objectives that you need to hit. You have your appraisals, your performance review, and you have to fit in a box, right?
You
They're the
don't
ones.
seem like the sort of person who would fit in a box to me.
Well, exactly. I was always trying to punch my way out of the box.
Yeah.
But what actually, it's a really good point, Ben, because I think what happened is what I would do is I would do what I needed to do, and I would be who I needed to be to fit in the box. And then all the extra bits that I believe needed to be done and should be done from a human perspective, I would do outside the box. But it meant my full-time job was the box, and my other part-time job, the added extras, was outside the box. And therefore, I always exceeded every expectation, and I was always, performer, etc., etc. But at the sacrifice of myself and my own energy and my own wants and needs as a human being rather than an employee.
So you weren't being your most authentic self in that role?
Um,
Or you were
I
trying
was,
to be but one thing at work and then one thing outside it? Or
yeah, essentially. And I think I was trying to be who I wanted to be in work.
yeah.
Nobody really got it.
Yeah, yeah.
From school and work, I was always the one that went, why? Because I needed to
So
understand.
yeah, same.
Yeah. And I used to have to keep, the teachers thought I was winding them up half the time, but I was genuine. I am nosy. I love understanding the
Yeah.
whys and and being around people who don't agree with my view or have different views so that I can really understand them and really dig deep, not because I'm questioning them because I think they're wrong, because I'm questioning them because I'm genuinely interested
Mm,
in
mm,
other human beings and human behavior and how people think and why they think it. And that's how we learn, right?
Yeah, I can really relate to that. I was always asking why. I think
Yeah.
I think
And
it's
I
a
think
great thing now, like, 'cause as a kid, you're told, "Stop asking why," right? Why are you asking
always
why?
just do as you're told.
Just do as
Just
you're
do.
told.
do-
Yeah.
And I think that, so I don't think I was I don't think I was not being me, but I think I was being me a minority of the time and
Yeah.
fitting in the box a
Yeah.
majority of the time.
Yeah.
And so therefore I always felt like there was more to do, more to give, more to prove, more to change, more to help.
Yeah.
And so, and that I believe was the reason why I ended up in a negative state and burning out, etc.
Oh, right. When did that happen?
So that happened as I was pregnant with my second child. So after my first one, I went back full time, and it was full time over 4 days because one, I loved work. Two, it was my whole identity was wrapped up in my work. And three, I had a point to prove, and I was trying to be Superwoman to fly the flag for women of you can have a baby and you can still be fit and healthy and you can hold a house down and you can still succeed in your career. And I was almost looking back, obviously, it's really clear. I was almost trying to prove to the world that I could do it. And in doing it, I was absolutely shattered. But also, when you go back, when you've had a child, you know, you would know this, you haven't got all of the hours God sends. And
No.
where my success used to be based on my output because I used to put more in and I used to just do more hours to deliver the box and the added extras around the box. Well, I didn't have those extra hours anymore. And therefore, the disconnect between who I wanted to be and what I wanted to deliver and what I could deliver in normal hours became bigger. And therefore, the stuff outside the box was the bits that had to go because I had to deliver
Oh, I see.
what I needed to deliver. And
Yeah.
so I kept on trying to deliver more, deliver more, deliver more to prove to myself to be the person I used to be before my daughter. And so when I got pregnant with my second child, I was already in a stress state. I was
Mm.
already, you know, feeling rubbish about myself, doing our silly hours, trying to be the old version of me. And when I got pregnant and my iron levels were just ridiculous because my body was in a stress state, probably couldn't absorb the nutrients I needed. And the ultimate failure in my head then was getting signed off from work. The doctor was
Oh,
like, you can't go back. You're too ill. You're
right.
gonna affect your baby, your unborn baby.
Mm.
And that was the moment that instead of going, oh my goodness, thank you for signing me off, I was in bits because to me, the superwoman trying to prove to herself and the rest of the world that she could do it all and carry
Yeah.
on has just been signed off with stress.
Mm. Do you
And
think
that
you
was,
knew who you were at that point?
I knew who I was. I didn't know who I was in this next chapter. I was
Mm.
desperately still trying to be the woman in my 30s who was in my early 30s who was a career girl, winning the awards, getting the bonuses, over delivering, and couldn't accept not being that person. So I was trying to be that person and putting everything into that, but also being the best version of a mother that I could possibly be. And you can't do both. You have to recreate yourself.
Mm. Do you think it's recreation, or do you think it's homecoming to who you really are?
I think it's both, actually.
Mhm.
I think your soul knows who you are, and the more disconnected you are from your soul, the harder life gets. But I do also believe that there are different chapters of your life that you need to reconnect in with your soul to be able to re-establish who you are in that chapter. And so, I know for the last, what, since I started my business 10 years ago, I know I've got it in me and I am capable of achieving more in terms of how externally people measure it. So I could have had more clients, I could have earned more money, I could have grown the business, I could have hired more people. Absolutely, I've got the capability of doing that, still have. But actually, is that what this chapter of my life is about? Absolutely not.
Mm.
I have made a conscious choice that this chapter of my life, while my children are school age, are about my family unit. And my business contributes to that and helps that, but that is absolutely my focus. Now,
Mm.
in a couple of years' time, they're not going to want to be spending much time with me, and therefore I can reassess my strategy of my business, and that will be a new chapter of me stepping, not less into motherhood, because obviously once you're a mother, you're always a mother, but the balance will change again. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so I think it is coming back to yourself, but I do genuinely think there are different chapters as well.
Yeah. You can choose your state of being and understand who you really are at the same time.
Yes.
Um, when you were saying earlier, like there was stuff that you did was inside the box, and there was stuff you did outside the box. Can you kind of give us a bit more as to what those things were?
So I think what I was referring to then is when you're in an organization, they put you in a box, you've got to do this, you've got to behave in this way, and therefore you conform. You're just another robot acting how you're supposed to act. I do think things have changed a little bit now. I think corporate organizations are a lot more accepting around diversity and inclusion, etc. But essentially, you get the job for a certain reason. You are a certain person, you've got certain skills, and they
Yeah.
can utilize those. And so in the box is very black and white what is expected of you. And I think the outside the box then is very much about what else can you add? What else are the shiny bits, the twinkly lights, the above, up and above what's expected, or just different. So I think that's what I was referring to about the box and outside the box. I think how I refer to it in my business, because obviously my business is called Stronger Inside and Out, um, is very much about you on the inside. So my methodology starts very much at foundational level, which is all about your identity as a human being, knowing yourself before you do anything, because otherwise it's like living and working with the brakes on. You will never get to the next level unless you work on your base, on your foundation, which is all
Mm.
about yourself. And then it's looking again still internally at your mind. What is your mind doing? How is your mindset? What is your motivation? What are you motivated by? How is your spiritual health? What do you believe in that's bigger than you? And how can you connect in with that? Your physical health, because obviously this is our vessel. But also your emotional health, connecting in with your heart and your emotions, which I think is often very shut down and very blocked off because we're just told to stop crying, pull your socks up and get on with it.
Mm.
And then outside, so that's all about the inside, and then the outside is all about, based on that, your identity and your health, which is really your energy system. How are you connecting with people? What are your connections with other people? What are your relationships like with other people? And obviously that first is with yourself. You've got to look in the mirror and love yourself, physically, spiritually, emotionally, because if you don't, then you're not being the best version of you because you're not proud of you. And then it's your significant other. That is really important. People forget about that. Having
Mm.
somebody that adds to you as an individual and adds to your life. And then it's your children and your community and your team, your clients, your business, the world. And that's when you can work on your purpose, you can work on your business, you can work on your work. And that's when the fulfillment comes. So that's kind of the inside and out.
And then you are in flow.
Then you're in flow, which is where we all want to be.
I can imagine being triggered by something you said then, not now, but I can imagine my previous self being triggered with the you've got to love yourself. So if you don't love yourself and you're listening to this, where do you start?
So
And why is it
great.
important? Why is it important and where do you start?
So loving yourself is key to everything, because you cannot control, or you cannot impact how other people think and feel about you. You can't. That's them. That's based on their view of the world, their map of the world, their experiences, their upbringing, their life, etc. You can't.
Mm.
But what you can do is make sure you are being your absolutely best self, consciously and unconsciously, being the person you want to be, so that no matter what has happened in the day, what's gone wrong, who said what about you, whether you've achieved this, that, and the other, if you can look at yourself at the end of the day and go, I've done my best, I am being my best, then it takes all the other noise, all that other BS from externally away. Because if you know you've done your best, full stop, of what the outcome is, you know you gave it your all. And that will be different every day because we've got different amounts of energy every day, etc. And so a lot of it comes back down to, do we know ourselves? Do we choose who we're being? Who's the old version of us? Who's the current version of us? And who do we really want to be in terms of how we feel, how we see the world, how we think? And so the biggest part of that, and it's really interesting because people really judge the little things. And for example, gratitude. People are like, gratitude, right? I would say 95% of my one-to-one clients who are senior execs, CEOs, seven-figure founders and up, we always end up at some point in the coaching journey focusing on, I want you to go to bed and write 3 things you've done well this day. That is the last thing. Not, I am grateful for the bed I'm in. Not, I'm grateful for the pencil I'm writing with. But 3 things you have done well this day. Because a lot of this is, I deal with high achievers. So the competitive, the ambitious, the driven, the passionate people. And they are usually the ones who focus on what's next rather than what is. And so by bringing it back down to the present moment and just that 24 hours we've just had of what have I done well this day, makes them remember that they've actually done really well, rather than just what can I do better tomorrow. And so I think that's a practice that is more powerful than people will realize, because then you connect back in with actually you've done really well. And then the next level, when they're a bit more comfortable, is what is good about me? Just going a bit deeper of, okay, not just what have I done well, but how have I been? How, what's been going on for me today? How am I being my best version of myself?
Give yourself a pat on the back.
Yeah, we don't do it enough.
Rather than a kick up the arse, because that's what everyone thinks they need, right?
And it's socially acceptable to give yourself a kick up the arse. Particularly in this country, in the UK, banter and put downs is almost team building in friendships. But actually, all it is insults. And
sorry to interrupt. As a woman, do you see that within the female friendship groups? Because in male friendship groups, that's really common.
The banter, I do. I see it more in men, definitely. Not as much in female groups, but there's a lot more, I would say, unsaid rather than said.
So still the undertone is still like, just get on with it and give yourself a kick up the arse.
Yeah. Unless you have a solid, trusted group. So I'm not very good at the surface level chit chat. I'm not very good at or I say I'm not very good. I choose not to be the person who just goes to the pub and just chats about the weather and whatever's on TV. I can do that, absolutely, but I choose not to. I'm just not interested in it. Now, give me a log fire in the middle of the woods and let's talk about how we're feeling because I haven't slept for 3 nights because it's a full moon, or that the reason my husband's driving me mad this last few days, and us share each other's experience. And that might be, hold on a minute, from my perspective, you've been a bit harsh on him, which is normally what my friends say. But true friendship, the deep friendships, are the people who can pat you on the back when you've done well. They can wipe your tears and give you a hug when you're upset. But they can also say, Debs, you're being a dick. Like, stop now. Like, you're looking at it very internally. Just come out a minute and look at it from a different view. And so I think it depends on where you're putting yourself and who you hang out with, which is why it's so important to be around people who can hold you no matter what, not just when you're on. I've had friends in the past that they love, people love being around me, Ben, because I am really positive. I am 90% of the time really high energy. I'm really good at seeing the goods in people. I'm really good at seeing the potential in people, and I'm always up for helping to people rise people. So people feel good around me, which is brilliant. And I
Mm.
love that. And I utilize that. And, you know, it's a win-win. They feel good. It makes me feel good. You know, their families and their businesses are affected. But when it comes to friendships, I need people who can do that for me as
Mm.
well.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
who, if I'm on my knees and I'm crying because for whatever reason, because that's
Yeah.
acceptable, that they still want to be around me.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
think that's really important, is to find your tribe.
Yeah. Do you find that difficult because you have this? It's kind of like another role that you have, isn't it? To be that uplifter.
Yeah, really hard,
Yeah.
really hard. It's floored me over the years, completely floored me, because it gets to a point where I've got nothing left to give.
Right.
And then my kind of rejection sensitivity kicks in of, well, I don't want, just because I'm in a bad mood, they don't want to be around me. So then I'll isolate myself,
Mm.
and I will hibernate for a bit and work through it all on my own. But actually, I am so lucky to be in a village that I have met. You know, I have been given access to the most incredible human beings I've ever met, who are, I can't even describe them. They're definitely angels that have been sent to me, who are exactly that. They are the kindest, most human, most loving, most real women. I mean, a very small group of women who just get it.
Yeah.
And no matter what, you know, wherever they are in the world, I will always be connected to them, because we've got a really
Mm.
solid group going on.
Nice. That's lovely.
Yeah.
As you know, I run men's camps
Mhm.
where we create that.
Yeah.
Because I feel as though that doesn't exist quite so easily or readily for men. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, when I heard that that's what you were doing, I was chuffed to bits. Absolutely chuffed to bits, honestly, because I was having a conversation about, just after COVID, so what, 2, 3 years ago, saying this is needed. You know,
Yeah.
seeing my journey, and I deliver for what, weirdly, all of my one-to-one clients are usually men, and my group program clients are nearly always women, because women like
Oh, right.
being in the tribe.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting.
and I was like, I really want to create this for men, but I wasn't the right person to create it for men, because I'm a
Mm.
woman. And so
Mm.
great on a one-to-one, but in a group, I think they need strong men who aren't scared of their feminine, who have got a healthy feminine side and a healthy masculine side, that can show them what that looks like. And so when I heard you were doing it, I was like, that is brilliant, because
No,
I think
nice.
if men go to something and are doing something,
Yeah.
then it's not going around to somebody's house and having a cup of tea and talking about our emotions. You know,
Yes.
it just
Exactly.
feels different.
No one wants to do that.
Yeah, yeah. It
No
just
men wants to do that, really.
yeah, you can't
Yeah.
sell that. You just can't sell that. Um, yeah, absolutely delighted, because I think that until okay, Ben, this is something that I haven't said publicly before. So I run a women's empowerment network, and to help women this is all non-profit, to help women start and scale businesses.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
And it is absolutely brilliant. So it's called Make It Your Business, and it's very locally based at the moment, but it's going national in 2026. And the biggest, oh, I can't remember what I was going to say now. What were we saying? Oh, I've lost my train of thought.
We were talking about community and men's camps, and then you were
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about
that's what I was going to say. Right. So thank you. And so there's this big thing about getting more women into senior roles. So I'm talking about employment here, and big
yeah.
corporates. And, you know, I think it's only 8 or 9% of senior roles are held by women still in 2025. That's a whole nother episode of your podcast talking about that, because do I think we should do I think we should improve on that or not? I don't know, because actually there's a massive part of me who is a paternal feminist, which means that families should come first, and actually trying to get more women into senior roles means taking away from the family. That's another topic.
Mm, mm,
However, the one of the reasons I believe that women are held back, and one of the reasons I believe that women are not in as many senior roles or starting as many businesses, although when they do, they're 25% more likely to be successful,
really?
is
Wow.
because is because they're very much about the senior women are a lot of them, not all of them, are very much acting in their masculine,
Oh yeah.
because the only
Yeah.
reasons they can get to seniority is to be in their
Def-
masculine. So for me, a massive part of helping the feminism movement, i.e. allowing women to be in more senior roles, is not focusing on the women, it's actually focusing on the men.
okay.
If we can have more healthy masculine
Yeah.
in boardrooms and in
Yeah. It
organ,
allows the women to be women. Yeah.
absolutely. It allows the
Definitely.
men to
Yeah.
have healthy feminine and masculine and the same as women, which is where I think you come in. That I think is going to be an absolute game changer for men. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that. I think also that women who, and I'm sort of speaking from experience with a client,
Mm.
very successfully managed to be in her masculine and achieve, really well. And the work we did basically has got her more into her feminine, and she's been even more successful.
Yeah. Because
So
otherwise you're only you're
half a
only
person.
performing in 50%
Yeah.
of yourself, aren't you?
Yeah. And I think, and we talked a little bit about people like, and I don't really know these them in depth, but Margaret Thatcher and the Queen,
Mm.
um, who this person was really inspired by. So mine, they were powerful women, and they were very much in their feminine, from my understanding. Via her, I don't know, I could be wrong. It could be wrong, right? But they weren't like Margaret Thatcher. I did look it up a little bit. She wasn't wearing masculine clothing. She would
Yeah.
be wearing all of the dresses and all the stuff.
Mm.
And we looked up a few things, and what she did really well was she would use her feminine power
Mm.
to get her way,
Mm.
basically,
Mm.
because she knew
Mm.
that men would need the final say on things, or like, men would need to appear to be they would need to appear to be in control.
Yeah.
So she would say things in a very clever way,
Mm.
even though it was the way she wanted
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
things to go.
Now is that feminine power,
I think
or
it
is that?
is. I think it's embrace. It's understanding.
Mm.
I think it's understanding the dynamic. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. But I think it's understanding the dynamic and playing it
Yeah,
very, very
yeah,
cleverly.
yeah. I see what you mean. I think it's the reading the room, having empathy of where people are at, understanding the
Yeah,
human nature of the people you're around, and trying to get the best from them for the greater good, which I
yeah.
think yeah, absolutely.
And I
I
don't
think
want
I
to
think
pretend that I'm an expert on Margaret Thatcher, because I'm absolutely not. She wasn't even really, prime minister when I was around. So
yeah, you probably weren't even born. Yeah, no,
no,
I remember. I remember Meg. I never comment on politics. So I think it's a dangerous place to go, and I
no,
don't
we're
know
not.
much
No, no,
about it.
definitely not. Yeah,
But I was talking to somebody recently and saying feminine power. People look at it as to be a
feminism,
feminist and to
feminist.
be
Yeah, yeah, that's not it.
powerful in um as a woman. You have to be able to hold your own in the boardroom. You have to be
Yeah,
able to be successful at business.
yeah,
Actually, do you know what? I believe the the biggest sign of feminine power is to realize that in the home everything depends on you.
right.
And let me explain that a little bit more. So there is often a lot of disconnection between heterosexual relationships when both parties are working and they have children. And that normally comes from the woman getting frustrated that the man isn't doing enough, and that she has particularly all of the mental load of running the house, raising the family, and work, business, etc. And that it does this, and it fights, and it's what happens is she expects him to be more emotionally connected to her and more emotionally connected to the children, and that would help, because then if he's not doing as much, at least she feels connected to him. However, my view on this is that is not the strength of a majority of men. Now, I know that you're changing
It's
that,
not.
which is
It's definitely not the strength of the majority of men. That's for sure.
yeah.
Mm.
However, the female power comes from owning that, owning the fact that a woman will always be at the center of a family. And she
Mm.
needs to stop denying that and stop fighting it and stop trying to share that with her male life partner, and say, no, no, the heart of this family is me.
Mm.
That is
Mm.
my natural feminine power at its absolute highest.
Right.
And so if stuff's going on with the kids and they're not happy, right, I've got to look at me first. If something's not going on in my relationship with my husband, I've got to look at me first.
Yeah. I would like to balance that with any man who's listening to this also
Yeah.
needs to take that level of ownership.
100%, because like I
You
said
said earlier,
earlier on,
you can't control the other person.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It's the realizing that you are the most powerful person in your life,
Yeah.
and then for a bit, and the point I was making there is the woman in her strongest state. She is connecting in with her family. She is giving them love no matter what they're doing. The love is unconditional. The empathy is unconditional. She will protect and love no
Mm.
matter what. And when a woman realizes that the household needs that, and she is essentially the key to that in the household, I think everything else settles down. And I say that from personal experience.
Interesting. Yeah, I think I agree. And if you had said man, it wouldn't have made that much difference.
Yeah. I think, yeah. So this is where it gets interesting, isn't it? Because,
Yeah.
again,
But the feminine has the power of they're more.
yeah.
You know, King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, right? Do you know that?
I know of it. I've
Okay.
certainly
So
don't know much of
the
it.
king and the warrior. So king and warrior in a woman is queen and I think huntress. I can't remember exactly. It might be warrior still. I don't know. The magician and the lover. So these are archetypes of a man. Four archetypes. Women have more, 7, I think. Which always gives the joke, women are more complicated than men.
I was really thought you went on then. She's already got more hats than the man has.
Right. It's probably already been said on the podcast once or twice. But the king and the warrior are the masculine energies, and the magician and the lover are the feminine energies. But you are not in your fullness as a man if you are suppressing one of them.
Yes. Yeah.
And likewise, if you're also not in your fullness as a woman, I guess, if you're suppressing some of the other ones, because you said leading your family and you said protecting your family no matter what. Essentially, you said something along those lines, which is the kind of queen and the warrior energy of a woman. But to be in that as a woman, to be in that and not be in your lover and magician is kind of being in your head or your masculine too much. And the other, and even as a man, if you're in there too much and you're not suppressing any of this, you're just not whole.
Yes.
But society is kind of set up to teach us to be like that.
Yeah.
And that's
and
knowing
I
you're not
think
broken.
that's, isn't it? That's where the disconnection comes from, is we're trying to be a certain way. So what do you think then around the innate differences between men and women. Because if we've all got the same
Yeah.
architects, we've all got feminine, masculine, or head and heart, as I say it, then, you know, I believe that we do need to appreciate the differences between men and women. And
Yeah.
this isn't me
Yeah.
trying to exclude people who are non-binary or trans,
Yeah.
but the innate differences between my husband and myself are massive. And the more I try and step into my feminine, the further away we are. So I need to step into my feminine and he needs to step into his feminine, because we've both got the masculine sussed. We've, you know, that's just the first 45 years of our lives were focusing on the masculine, and now it's we both need to step in. But I still do believe our problem is I don't need rescuing. I don't need anybody in my life to survive it. Yeah. But I do need somebody in my life to fill it with love and emotion and intimacy and, you know, anything that comes with that. And so if I step out of my head of I don't need anybody, I'm an independent, strong woman, and step into my heart space, which is, but you don't want survival. You know, the warrior mode is the surviving, the, you know, the queen energy, the, I don't know, the archetypes of what you were saying, is the actually, well, what about this? How am I nurturing this? So I do need him, and that takes a lot for me to say. I do need him, but I don't need him for my old definition of success. I need him for my future definition of success, to open my heart and allow myself to be loved. I can love everybody else till the cows come home, but to allow somebody to love me, that's a whole nother level.
Why is that a whole nother level? And I'll come back to your question in a minute.
Yeah. Because that means putting yourself first. That means opening yourself up to hurt, essentially. You know, if you allow,
Possibly rejection.
open it up, yeah, that's a really vulnerable place to be. And for a head-based doer, high achieving doer, that is the hardest hurdle. I'll speak for myself. That is the hardest hurdle to overcome, is accepting love and help, acceptance from other people.
Are you aware of attachment theory?
Yeah.
So you said something earlier which made me think, so for anyone who doesn't understand, anxious attachment is where you're needy.
Yeah.
And you might be like that because you didn't get, well, it's just how you were taught really as a kid. If you didn't get the love you wanted, you become anxious and you want it more and you're like, I need, you know, you become needy. And then Debbie is a detacher, I think. Is that right? Anxious detachment. Or you can be both.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Detachment, and I'm also a detacher. I think British people generally we are detachers.
Yeah.
So is that the right word? Where you like you pull yourself away and you go avoidant, anxious avoidant. Yeah. So you become, when you feel anxious, you become avoidant, and I'm the same. And so it could just be that's just your shadow behavior. Basically, is like when you feel you wanted the love, but then you have a program in the back of your mind which is like, last time I wanted it, I didn't get it, and I avoid it. So that's why it's hard. And I was the same, so I can see that.
Yeah. So, and the more I want love, the more I give it, because actually, then if I give it, so I'm actually an anxious attachment.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, the more I want it, the more I chase to try and get it. But I chase by giving it more, hoping that the more I give, then I might get some back. And the so anxious and avoidant, and the avoidant runs away from it, and so they don't want the argument or they don't want the confrontation, and so they run away from that person chasing them, which makes this person feel even more unloved. and so they chase more, and this person goes further away,
yeah.
and so it get all sorts of dramas happens with that.
I think so. My coach said to me, "Whatever you feel like you need, it's gonna run further away."
Oh, tell me more.
So for me, it would be like I would have a story in my head, like I need money to pay the bill or pay the rent or whatever. And he said, the more you chase money, the more you need that, the more it's going to run.
Yeah.
The more it's going to run. And I think then it made me think of everything else that people say to me, like, I need this. Because it was like, I didn't need it. I'm still here. I'm still safe. Like, I'm still going to eat.
Yeah.
Even if we lost the house, I'd still be okay.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
Yeah.
Really.
You have to believe it, right? You just gotta expect it to come. I mean,
Well,
that's
it's not so much, yes, but also the idea that I needed it was actually putting my nervous system into a state of fear.
Yes.
And that is not useful because then my state of being becomes fearful.
Yeah.
And so then my thinking becomes scarcity, and then my emotions are anxious. And then I just don't act in the best way when I'm in that state of being. It's like the doing that comes out of being anxious is, I don't know, eating or not following up because I'm anxious that it's not going to work or whatever, So I wonder how that translates into I need love, or I need, in this situation, and then how that cascades down into your.
Yeah, and then you don't get it. And I think
Then you don't get it because you're in a state of fear or anger or frustration or whatever. Sadness.
Yeah, and fear is the lowest energetic emotion. So if you're stuck in fear all the time, you're stuck in a really dark place, and it can take you to really bad, horrible places that you don't want to be. But also there's, in terms of kind of love, like a word for me this year, any kind of meditation, any kind of sound healing I have done, the word expectation always comes out.
Oh, I love that.
And
I talk about this a lot.
do you? It'll be interesting to see where you're coming at from the same angle. So if I expect love from somebody,
yes,
it ain't coming because I'm putting so much pressure on them.
Yeah, you're only going to be disappointed, even if you do get it. You're like, well, I expected it anyway, so of course I should have it.
Absolutely. If I'm going to put expectation on myself, then the pressure just builds. It just builds all the time. Whereas it's the coming away from expecting anything, because again, you're living in the future state. And if you're living in the now and being more present, and what is, and you just trust and you surrender, then you're a lot more connected anyway, and therefore you'll be given what you're due to get.
Yes, but I think there's a load of deeper work that happens for you to be able to get to that place. And because then you become more attractive, right? And like I have become more attractive in the last 2 years, not good looking, fitter, just more attractive. I've been like more opportunities, but that's because of all the deep work, because I'm not in fear, because I'm in joy, and I'm in like happiness and joy and love more than I am in fear and sadness and anxiety. And I'm doing this because I'm looking in my head, I'm looking at the wheel, the emotion wheel, which I was taught. But what I was going to say was the difference, that the paradigm that I use is expectations versus agreements. So an agreement, so if you want, because you have needs as well, so it's okay to ask for things, like as humans, we can make agreements, like I would like date night on Thursday night. That's our date night. That's not tonight, is it? No, that's next. It's Tuesday. So our agreement, because my need is, so do you know the love languages? So the 5 love languages, one of mine is quality time. So,
Right.
so I'm like, I would like a date night on Thursday
Yeah.
night. Plus, we don't get to spend much time together because we've got kids and Ellie's pregnant at the moment. And so our agreement is date night, and it doesn't always happen, but
Yeah.
we have agreed that that is the night. So
Yeah.
I don't have an expectation anymore
You've
for us
agreed
to
it.
spend. I don't have an expectation for quality time because I
No.
haven't told her about my expectation. And even if I
Yeah.
have, we haven't agreed anything.
Yeah.
But now we've both made an agreement to have Thursday night. It's clear for both parties. So
Yeah.
my needs are getting met
Yeah.
in that sense.
Yeah.
And if we don't uphold the agreement, I know it's not like written down, like signed thing, but it could be if it was a business thing, it could be.
Yeah.
Then we just have a conversation about it, and it's just like, oh, we agreed that, and it's not happening. Let's
Yeah.
create a new agreement, and it's pretty.
And doesn't that all come back down to my methodology, which I was talking about, the success triangle, all starts with you? Because
Yeah,
in that example,
yeah,
you have done work
totally.
on you and you are aware of your love language being quality time, and therefore you know you need eyes on time, just you and your
Mm,
partner. And to get that, you will feel loved, you will be energized, and therefore the connection in your relationship will be closer. And
yeah,
therefore, because you're feeling that closer, your business it will impact into your business and your other relationships, which is exactly the model that I take people
yeah.
through. But it
Nice.
all starts with the self.
That's not
Always starts with the self.
always
Because if
exactly.
you cannot know what you want and you can't
Yeah,
communicate what it is you want, how are you expecting anybody else to give you what it is you want and need from them?
yeah, because
Rather than,
you don't even know what you want to need.
yes, yes, exactly.
um, there's a book called From the Core with I think John Weinman is the author.
Yeah,
And he said there's 4 things that a man needs at his core,
yeah,
and it's really simple. It's time alone with no demands, like you don't have anything to do.
yeah,
When the hell do men do that? Very rarely. The second thing is time alone, no demands, preferably with your God, whatever that is. So
yes,
for me, that would be in nature.
yeah,
Oh no, was that? Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, for me that's in nature
yeah.
because I'm sort of that's my God is nature and the universe. And the third thing is time with other men, preferably with the other 2.
Yeah.
So again, like the camping
Yeah.
trips are like tick, tick, tick. And then the
Yeah.
fourth thing is the relationship is like a really solid relationship. If you've got all 4 of those, you're pretty like, you don't need the fancy car. You don't need anything else really.
Yeah.
You might want it, but you really don't need any of that.
Yeah. 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 And does that, I haven't read that book. I've just written it down actually from the core. And is the whole book focused on men, or is there the equivalent to women? Because it'd be interesting to see if the women's
Oh, I
version
don't
is
know.
the
That's
same.
good. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good point. I
Yeah.
don't read too much about the female
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
psychology,
Yeah.
and because I think women are, so kind of getting back to your question then of like what's the
Yeah.
difference between men and women, and I'd preface my answer with most men, I'm talking about um straight, not necessarily straight, but masculine
Yeah.
men who are in their masculine and feel in their masculine. And then when I would say, so I wouldn't necessarily say most men, I would say most masculine,
Yeah.
because you could be a gay man and in your masculine, or you could be a
Yeah.
gay man in your feminine. So that's fine. Like
Yeah.
that works. And that I've done a couple of podcasts with gay men, and it's a really interesting conversation because that's not allowed in society. Likewise, like it's not allowed, it's not okay for a woman to be in her masculine and just be like a bit of a tomboy and
Yeah.
just be like, that's who I am. That's okay.
Yeah. You hard-nosed
Um,
bitch.
yeah,
I've
yeah,
been told
yeah,
that
yeah,
before. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So I'd say most men, and that's what I'm talking about, most masculine, most feminine. What was I talking about? Okay, right, yeah. So I think
Difference between men and
most,
women.
yeah, I think women are becoming more powerful, and it's a really awesome thing. And you've already said like they're 25% more likely to be successful in business, for sure. I think it comes more naturally for women to be intuitive. I think it becomes more naturally for them to be loving. I think which is, because then, and empathetic. So they're anticipating other people's needs, which is probably why they're more successful in business. I think it comes more naturally for them to just be, to be in relationship with other women
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
in communities.
Yeah.
And I think men haven't, and I think because they've stepped up and become more powerful, men haven't. I don't think men generally have.
Yeah.
And they're being left behind
Mm.
emotionally. And I think, and there's a lot of single powerful women around who find it really difficult to find a match for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're listening to this and you're a single man and you want to be with a really awesome woman, there's a real big opportunity to just do the work and be with somebody amazing, because they're picky, rightly so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from your experience, Ben, do you think that men feel like they're getting left behind because women have done so much work over the years that
I
there
think they
is a
feel
role?
ashamed. Yeah. I think
Mhm.
shame. And I've experienced that because my
Okay.
business did really
Yeah.
well, didn't do so well, and I
Yeah.
had to rely on my other half whose business was doing well. So, and I felt ashamed
Mm.
because as a man, I should have been the provider.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is going a bit in a different direction, so tell me if it's not. But so I have noticed that there is a lot more men at the school gate, for example, right? And I have noticed there is a lot more men taking paternity leave and the woman going back to work because she was the higher earner.
Right.
Do you think that that is the right move from
Mm.
a society perspective to, or do you think that actually a majority of men would prefer to be the one to provide and allow the natural nurturer and empath to be at home raising the kids?
Good question. There is a chemical argument to this as well. And the chemical argument is there are certain activities which produce certain chemicals in our body.
Mm.
So, if you are a man and you're full-time nurturing,
Mm.
that's producing estrogen in your body, which is just not, it's just stressful for your body. Like, it's just stressful for you as a human.
Yeah.
It's not like you can't do it ever,
Mm.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
but you just aren't going to find, it just isn't chemically good. Useful, I would say good. It's not chemically useful for your body.
yeah,
And actually going and chopping some wood and going to spend time in nature, like those four core things with other men, and just because it is those four really, it's not really the activity as such. It's
yeah,
time with no demands. It's time
yeah,
with your God. It's time with other men. And then it's time, it's a great relationship. So you're chemically gonna, and I think there's an element of just keeping yourself fit and healthy, which produces testosterone as well.
yeah,
Just having your body just generally good and healthy, and
yeah,
all the other things that go with that, like being outside. And so I don't think it's a bad, it's really, you can't just say it's a bad thing, can you? I mean, it's very much an individual thing and choice. And I think there's probably a balancing act. We certainly have a balance of it. So I take Wednesday. Wednesday is my day with my son, and
yeah,
every other day I'll drop him off.
yeah,
But I'm not being productive, and I'm
yeah.
not. But I
Yeah.
don't need to be productive. I don't need to be doing things all the time.
Mhm.
I spent the weekend with him because Ellie went off to spend some time with her girlfriends, and he taught me how to dance, how to sing,
Yes.
and he taught me how to play, which is another subject entirely, but how to play and
Yeah.
just be present with him. So, you know,
Mhm.
it's not. Now, if I was full time with him, I think I'd be out of balance. I think I'd just be out of balance. I think it's about balancing rather than like men should only do this and women should only do that.
Yeah.
Because you're shoulding then. It's a judgment, really. But
Which is
there's
hard, isn't it?
well, it's not normal for us. It's because it's not like my dad went to work and I didn't. You know, he went early and got back late, and I'd see him at the weekends and maybe in the evenings for dinner, and that's kind of it. And that's pretty normal. It's not, you know, but that's where we came from, and that's okay. We're just evolving. We are evolving as humans, and women are realizing.
And at the fastest rate known to humans. And so it is literally so fast, isn't it? Is that there is no right, there is no wrong. We are on completely new ground as a race, and everything around us is changing, and therefore we have to just be adapting. You know what? I probably said things in podcasts 2 years ago that I would probably look at now and go, "Oh my God, I can't believe I said that," because I'm a you know, I teach other people how to evolve, how to be their best self, but how their best self today is going to be different to their best self in 2 years' time, probably even 2 months' time, to be honest.
I caveat everything I just said with what you just said, as in this could all be completely wrong.
But you know, and I'm sure that there's things that I say that insult people, but the people who know me would absolutely know that everything I say is from love, and I'm not the kind of person who's trying to put anyone down, put anyone in a box, or hurt or offend anybody. I'm developing well as well, just because I'm a very experienced coach which works with incredible people doesn't mean that I'm still not on a journey myself. I'm on a journey. I always will be.
Yeah, I think it's so important to tell everybody that you know, we are imperfect. We are all imperfect.
Yeah.
And I think it's for me, like realizing that the attachment theory thing, that was brilliant for me, because I was like, oh, I'm just an avoidant, you know, I'm just an avoidant. That's my attachment style. I'm not broken, thank God. That's just the way I do things. And, you know, we're both avoidants. So we're both like, see you later, fucking whatever. But you're not broken. That's just the way you are, and it's okay.
And you have a choice, don't you? You accept it or you work to change it.
Yeah.
You know, and again, the power comes from inside of us. We choose. You know, my example is I have an ADHD brain, and in many ways it's absolutely my gift. And it makes me be able to join the dots quicker than the majority of people, work at a rate that is probably 10 times the average person at certain points. But it also means working with me in terms of if you were a team member is an absolute nightmare, because I change tact 15 times a day. I've got this idea, we're going to do this now. Blah, 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 blah. Right, my ideal client is now this. Blah, 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 blah. And they're like, whoa. And so it takes a very accepting person to, you know, so I work with a credible woman, Ginny, who is constantly like, right, so what is our focus again this week? And I'm like, well, it's this. Oh, well, last week you said it was that. And but she knows that that's because I've got 1,000 ideas, and I either choose to get them all out and focus on them myself, or chuck them all at her and see what lands and see what happens and just try it, and we'll go from there. But I can either accept myself and accept my incredible brain, or find ways to change it or adapt it or develop it so that it's easier for other people, or a mixture of the both.
I'm starting to suspect that there is no such thing as ADHD, or at least there's no such thing as neurotypical.
We're all just different, right? We've got to accept it. Everybody is different. None of us should.
But so many people say to me that I've got ADHD. It's like, honestly, it's ridiculous how many people will say that to me.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to think, well, if everyone's got ADHD, then how can there be ADHD?
And I've got a theory on this then. So there's two things I'll say to that. One is there is 8 trillion people in the world, and we're all unique and we're all incredible. And so let's stop putting labels and just use our names, because our name is our label. And secondly, I would imagine that the feeling that that you have of everybody's ADHD is because, similarly to me, you work with and you surround yourself with high functioning, high
Yeah.
performing,
Visionaries.
driven, ambitious, passionate
Yeah.
people who probably all are ADHD.
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
And
Well,
therefore,
visionary people. It's
yeah.
visionary people. Yeah.
And that's one of our gifts, right? And therefore, it's not that everybody is ADHD. It's just the fact that everybody you surround yourself with, and
Yeah.
therefore everybody
Probably.
in your world, it feels like it's ADHD because people are starting to talk about it. But actually, it's still such a minority of the world. But the people you hang around with are that type of person.
Yeah. Well, we don't see things as they are. We see things as we are. So, I likely have ADHD also. So,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
only seeing the ADHD people.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Ah,
Oh,
awesome. Is
brilliant.
there anything else you'd like to say?
It's just lovely to talk to somebody else who is on the human path.
Mm.
I'm on a mission to stop leaders ruining their lives by only focusing on work, but also to put the human element back into the boardroom, so that everybody is treated as individuals, that it's about emotional intelligence rather than intellect. AI, robots, they've got that now. So actually, if you want to be a successful leader going forward, whether that's at home or whether that's in business, you have to be tapping into the connection of people, the heart
Yeah.
space, the emotional intelligence. It needs to be about reconnecting and re-establishing who you are rather than just being resilient. I think there is a huge shift coming. Well, it's here, and the sooner that people can understand that and get help developing it, whether that's in the woods with you, whether that's on retreats or one-to-one coaching with me, then the quicker they're going to be that person they want to be, which means the more success that's going to come to them in 2026 and beyond.
Yeah, I agree. I think like if you're just a knowledge bank, well, and you're getting by because you're good at certain knowledge, then
Yeah.
it's gonna get AI, doesn't it? Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good point.
big time, big time. So, either join the movement or get knocked off. That's as simple as that. I'm
Join the
sorry.
club, guys. It's funny because that's like I've never worked in corporate. I don't really
Mm,
have I've got a perception, obviously, but I don't know. I've not experienced it, so I don't really know
yeah.
how unhuman it is.
Mm,
The army could have been. I guess the army was a bit like that in some senses because it is essentially a big corporation. The thing that really I was like, I'm out, I'm done, was when my sergeant major said to me, "Just a small cog in a big machine." And I was like, well, fuck that. I'm out. See you later. And we
yeah,
were working at the kind of special forces level. It was UK. It was one of the best parts of the military to be in, or the
yeah,
most
yeah.
best. Um. Anyway, how can people find out more about Debbie Waite?
So I mainly hang out on LinkedIn. So
Mhm.
Debbie Waite, Waite. I play around on Instagram under my business name, so it's Stronger Inside and Out. Or just contact me via my website. So
Mhm.
Stronger Inside and Out. Um, people get. I've realised that people get a bit scared off because I am so confident, I am so raw, and I am quite loud, and I am really energetic. But actually, I'm the most approachable. Once somebody starts talking to me, I'm the most approachable person ever. So,
Definitely.
drop into the DMs, say hi. If
Yeah.
anyone wants to chat about anything we've talked about, then let's chat. I love
Mm.
connecting with other people in this world who realise what the future looks like. So, yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for
Nice.
having me again. It's been
You're
great.
welcome. I echo that you are incredibly approachable, and I think that's come across on this conversation. So I'm sure that is obvious. But yeah, I guess if you if you looked if I met you and I didn't know you because I met you a long time ago actually
Yeah,
at a
yeah,
CrossFit gym
yeah.
of all
15
places.
years ago or something.
Yeah. But I can imagine meeting you where you're like so colourful and outgoing
Yeah,
could
you can be
be
intimidating.
intimidating, yeah, but you're not really.
No, I'm a big squishy bear, really.
All right, lots of love. See you
Brilliant.
soon.
Thank you very much. Lots of love. Bye. Bye.
You've been listening to the Ben Price Experience. These conversations are not just entertainment, they are also an invitation to confront the truth about what you are experiencing in life right this moment. An opportunity to upgrade your standards, to lead from a more powerful, grounded place. If some of these messages hit home, then maybe it is time to go deeper into who you are and who you are being. For men, I run a camp called the CEO Campout, or Campout, you might have heard of me refer it to. You can find it at www.ceocampout.com. This is time off grid with other men who are refusing mediocrity. We ditch our phones. We be honest about what's going on in our lives. We connect with one another. We have delicious food, fire, hiking, playing around in the woods. It's really, really powerful, relaxing experience. You'll get challenged in a positive way, but you'll walk away from it the most clear you've probably ever been in a long time, and the most relaxed you've ever been in a long time. So check out the website ceocampout.com, and if you want to inquire as to how to work with me, just drop me a message at Coach Ben Price, and I'd love to just connect with you if you've been impacted by anything in the podcast, not necessarily to work with each other, but just to connect, just to help in any way and serve in any way that I can. All right, lots of love and thanks for listening. Please make sure you subscribe to the podcast. It really helps us elevate. If you would leave a comment as well, that would be amazing, and share it with somebody who you think would be impacted by the message in this episode. All right, lots of love. See you soon.